Hey guys, this is Kathy.
And Brian.
And on today's episode of the Main Street Moments podcast, we are going to discuss a few things, but we're going to start off with talking about Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios here in Florida, our home state.
Oh, yeah.
And I just read an article that they are going to start cast member previews August 1st through August 16th with the Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Olga's Cantina, and Savvy's Workshop are all expected to be available during those dates. It says it has not been announced, but it seems that the annual pass holder previews are planned for the following that. But the catch is the pass holder previews are only for people with like the premium or the platinum, so that leaves you out.
Yeah, I have gold. I'm only gold. Well, here's what
I think it should be available to all pass holders. By the way,
here's what I'm most curious about with Galaxy's Edge in Orlando, because we already know what's there because YouTube is filled with all the videos,
similar.
From Anaheim, from California. But what I'm curious about, a couple things, the size of it, because I have heard. Only from like one person, okay? So this isn't like, I don't even know if you consider it a rumor if it's only been heard from one person, that Galaxy's Edge here is going to be bigger than the one at Disneyland, which makes sense because we got space here. So I'm hoping it's bigger. That's number one.
Yeah.
And there's also, anytime, this is very different because with Galaxy's Edge, this is the first time, to my knowledge, write in the comments if this has happened elsewhere around the world. This is the only time, to my knowledge, where two of the same land have been built in two Disney parks at the same time that are the same land.
I think,
right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I don't think that's happened before. So what I'm wondering is, I'm guessing that most of what they built is like 3D printed and stuff like that. A lot of these props and everything. So what I'm wondering is, did they make all the props? And what I mean by props, I'm talking about the outside of the buildings, the little stuff inside. Did they manufacture all the props for both of them in the same facility? And what I mean by that is...
I would think so.
Well, that means you're probably... I'm guessing you're not going to see those subtle changes. Like if you go to Splash Mountain in Orlando and then Splash Mountain in California, they're the same, but they're different. Like the animatronics inside... Splash Mountain here in Orlando were built specifically for the ride. In California, they were repurposed from another ride.
Right, but like you said,
there may not be any subtle difference. They may be completely carbon copies.
I think it will be. I think they might have a little more here since it is a larger area.
Like the mansions are different at Disneyland.
Well, yeah, like you said,
World,
they weren't built at the same time.
Years apart.
So that's the difference here. So the cast members will get to see it, obviously, which
Space
makes
Mountain's
sense.
Different.
Well, yeah, because they're, like you said, I don't even know.
Years apart.
I don't even know if there's ever been a time when even two rides have been built at the same identical time,
ride
simultaneously.
Mm-mm.
I don't even think that's it that I can think of.
No. And now I've never been to Disneyland, so what I would like people to tell, we know some things are different. The Haunted Mansion's different.
Oh yeah.
Pirates has differences to it.
The Pirates at Disneyland, I think, is better.
Has things, but the best one's in China. If you go watch the YouTube video of Pirates of the Caribbean in China, it's insane. But
Disneyland has a restaurant, and the beginning sequence is much longer. It's like once you get into the area with the ships, it's kind of the same.
And you're in New Orleans. You're in New Orleans in California too.
Oh, that's really
Here
cool.
You're in the Caribbean because Florida's in the Caribbean. Even if you Space Mountain's completely different. Even if you go to Thunder Mountain Railroad, there's some subtle differences on where you get on and exit as compared to here. So I'm just wondering, because they built these at the same time, and I'm just assuming there's 3D printing involved because that's the thing now. I just don't think you probably are not going to see the subtle differences between the two parks when they open.
I think they have to make some differences. I don't think they can make it an exact copy because I would think that they would want people to visit both and be like, well, let's see what's different. If I was designing them, I would make some differences. I would not make them exactly the same. They feel the same. They kind of look the same, but I would have some subtle differences. Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again. They need at least one more ride. 2 rides is not enough for land. I know Rise of the Resistance is supposed to be extremely cool, and Millennium Falcon is awesome from what I've seen, and I love Han Solo. He's like my favorite character. But so I'm excited for that. But they need at least 3 rides, in my opinion. But it is a larger area.
I'm
of
sure
land.
they will, especially in Orlando, because if you go and look at all the parks, there's always rides added. Things come in. There's always additions.
Plus, now they're adding a Toy Story Land restaurant. When you walk in the entrance and you see Woody, there's a little walkway off to the right before you get to Woody, and there's a fence there, or a gate, and there's going to be a cool restaurant, a sit-down called Woody's Roundup there. So maybe they're going to add a Star Wars-themed restaurant, which would be extremely cool. They might do that.
Well, don't forget, we got it here. Well, what we're going to have that they don't have out there is the Star Wars Hotel.
That's
too.
true.
So they're not going to have
restaurants
that.
in there. True. That's true.
But that Star Wars Hotel.
That's going to be a huge, huge.
I
draw.
don't know if we'll ever be able to afford to go in. And I bet you the Star Wars Hotel, because the way
it's going to be booked like a year in advance, at least
years in advance, and the lobby area is just like a normal hotel. You got to go up in the. Go up in the elevators, unless they've changed it compared to what they're saying now.
I don't think they've even started building that.
They're
yet.
not going to let people go on a resort tour of that place. Not like you can.
I don't know. I don't
Netherlands.
agree with
not
that.
Not for a while.
I think they will. It's going to be connected to the land, and I'm sure it'll be very expensive. And I'm sure when you stay there, you will get early magic hours just if you're a host staying at that hotel.
Well, because they keep telling
the
you it's like a cruise ship experience. That's how they describe it. So going to the Star Wars Hotel, to me, it sounds like kind of like it's the way they're promoting it is like it's Westworld. Like you go there and you're in this,
But they'll let anybody in. They don't block people
if
from
you've
the
got
hotels.
$2,000 a night.
No. They'll let anybody in the lobby and in the restaurants.
But in the lobby, everything they've said, the lobby's just going to look like a normal Disney hotel. You got to go up where the rooms are to see all the special stuff.
We'll see. I'm sure it'll have some.
But
features.
What's opening up this year? This year at Epcot, that space-themed restaurant is opening up.
Yeah.
Around October, November.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. But we were talking about, the Rise of the Resistance started being built in California before the one here started being built. But the California one is actually opening later because they've been having some issues, I guess, with the building and the contracting. I don't know. They're using different contracting companies, obviously. But the one here is opening December 5th. And we were talking about this. These rides are getting so sophisticated and there's so many different elements that they're going to have a lot of mechanical issues, like the Hagrid ride. There's some. We were watching Rick's Flicks, and he does a lot on Universal, and he said that ride has I can't remember what 7 or 11 different elements to maintain launches and drops, and the drop thing is also going to be featured in the Rise of the Resistance. They're going to have a drop area,
it's
supposedly rumored
yeah.
where you go down an elevator. That's kind of the newest thing, but that seems to be a very difficult thing to maintain. That seems to be a problem for the Hagrid ride, and it might be a problem for Rise of the Resistance.
Nobody knows what's going on. Okay, there's a lot of people are talking about this. Rise of the Resistance is opening up first at Disney World, and it's opening up later in Disneyland. And everyone's saying, "Oh, there must have been a mechanical problem." I don't think that's it at all. I think they're opening the one up at Disney World first for 2 reasons. One, because the main reason is because they want Disney World to have a first too. But Disneyland got the land first, so they're trying to have a grand opening at Disney World. They had a grand opening at Disneyland. They're gonna have a grand opening here. I think that's why they're doing it. It's not the ride technology, because they have this trackless ride technology. That's what they use for Ratatouille.
The problem is the drop,
in
though.
France.
They're saying that the problem is this drop.
I think they want to have a grand opening at Disney World. That Disney World should get a big grand, because I think they made a mistake having the grand opening at Disneyland. Now, maybe this is just me because we're in Florida, but I think the premier park is Disney World, not Disneyland, isn't it?
Well, Disneyland, from what I've always thought, is mostly locals. And one of the theories is why the park is so low. Like Galaxy's Edge, there's hardly anybody going
in Disneyland,
because they have a lot of annual pass holders that are blocked out right now. They should lift those blockout dates. There's 1 million pass holders that are blocked out for the summer. They should lift those blockout dates and let everybody in. And so they figure they'll get an onslaught of people, which is probably a huge part of it. And we have that issue here too. But the difference is at Disneyland, you do not get, and we talked about this on the last show, you don't get as many tourists coming in to go there as you do Orlando. Orlando's like the tourist capital of the country. I think everybody comes here for vacation.
But the Mickey's Runaway Railroad, they put that off too.
Yeah.
That was
Plus, there's more parks
at
Disney World. You have 4 parks. At Disneyland, you have 2.
It will never have a low crowd here. I mean, when you go to Disney Hollywood Studios before Toy Story Land, when the Toy Story Land was under construction still, because when Toy Story Land was under construction, Galaxy's Edge was under construction, so that whole area of the park was shut off. Mm-hmm. The only things they had at Hollywood Studios for a long time was Tower of Terror, Aerosmith, and Star Tours, and the park was still packed. So Galaxy's Edge here is not going to be like Disneyland. It is going to be packed. It is going to be packed each and every day for the next 10 or 15 years.
Well, the thing is, though,
like
when you have things coming, okay, and you have rides that are opening and people waiting, there's so much happening at Disney World now. There's so many changes. Not everybody goes every year or all the time like we do. Some people go every 5 years. They save up and it's like one big family trip. So say you have a family of 4 or 5, it's extremely expensive and they got kids that are little and the father might say and the mother might say, you know what, let's wait 3 years when all this is done. And then we'll go for 2 weeks and we'll get to see everything at once. Because if you go now, you're not going to see everything. They have all these things happening. So I think that factors into
I'm going all the time.
A lot of it too.
I was just wondering about this. Because the last couple of times I've gone to the Magic Kingdom, Fantasyland has not been that crowded. And I was talking about it in our YouTube videos that I think it's because the stroller size.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it. But then maybe it's Toy Story Land. Maybe so many little kids want to go to Toy Story Land.
I think that's part of it. Because Toy Story Land's packed.
Yeah, people aren't going to Fantasyland with little kids as much.
Right.
As they're going to Toy Story Land.
But
I don't know.
When you offer somebody something new and different, they are going to want to see that over the time.
Yeah.
If you're there for a week or whatever, you could pretty much see all the parks. But, kids want to go to the Magic Kingdom, but instead of going to the Magic Kingdom 2 or 3 days, they might say, well, let's go to the Magic Kingdom one day and then we'll go to Toy Story 2 days.
But little kids, they know
Plus
all about...
the movie just came out.
Well, little kids know all about Toy Story.
Yeah.
They don't know about Small World and Peter Pan as much, do they? I mean, I'm not saying they haven't heard of Peter Pan, but it's not as big as
maybe it'll change
Toy Story
when the live streaming comes out in November. I am super, super excited about the Disney app that they're because their contract ends with Netflix, and they're going to have their own app, and they're going to have all of their whole library there and some new shows. Everything. And they're going to have some new shows. They're going to have a live-action Star Wars show.
Every movie that Disney has produced.
Everything. That's what I've read. Every movie, everything, even probably some of the old-school cartoons that Walt did. They're going to have their entire library on this app.
Steamboat Willie till everything. Today.
And I think maybe that'll get kids, because their parents will be like, oh, let's watch this Snow White.
Let's binge the Disney
Let's watch
app.
These older movies.
Do you know how much that's going to be?
It's like $12, $15 a month.
Well, let me tell you. This is crazy, because you always give her time about this. I really have not watched too many Disney movies, not in a long time. I'm not really...
You're not into cartoons.
I don't like cartoons. Yeah. I never really have liked cartoons. I don't mind live action.
I love them.
So when the Disney live streaming app comes and we get it, I am going to watch every Disney movie ever made.
Yeah, and me too.
I'm going to watch them. Well, you said you don't want to watch Fantasia.
No, I won't watch Fantasia. I've seen that twice. I saw it in the theater.
Oh.
When I was 13, it came back and they had it at a local theater, and I went with my brother and sister, and we all fell asleep.
It's like, look what we can do.
I hated that movie.
We're going to have moving things on TV. Yeah. Well,
even they admit it's not that great.
I am going to watch I wonder if they're going to have Song of the South, because that's like a controversial movie. I don't know if they'll have that there.
I was really surprised they made a ride about Song of the South, because it is a very controversial movie. And you have Uncle Remus.
They didn't release the
slave
movie
in that movie, right?
They embargoed the when back in the days of VHS and DVD. They embargoed it in the United States. You could get it I remember people would get bootlegs in Japan. They released it on Laserdisc.
Now Uncle Remus is not part of the ride, so they left him out.
He's not.
But he's telling is he a slave in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like whistling happy-go-lucky, so a lot of people are upset because they're, obviously
I don't know
showing
though.
like a happy slave.
I bet they don't.
So then when they made that ride based on that movie, I was really shocked.
What I'm thinking is this, okay? Was what you were saying. When the Disney app comes out, because everyone's into binge watching, people will binge watch the Disney app, and there may be there's a lot of great Disney movies and things that you don't see anymore, like Swiss Family Robinson. Here in Florida, we have the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. In California, they changed it to Tarzan a long time ago. But, a lot of kids have not. That movie was like 1960.
The problem is, though, things like, I've seen that movie, and it's obviously old looking. And I like old movies, but a lot of kids don't. And I'm sure they'll remaster them, but kids are so used to the CGI and the sophistication of
That's live action
today.
Though.
No, I know. But I'm saying they're so
there's
used
no special
to,
effects in Swiss Family Robinson?
Well, it's like a 60s movie. They're so used to the movies of today.
With Dano from Hawaii Five-O's in it.
The cool animation and all that stuff. I wonder if they would even like those movies. If the kids, I think they would, but they might be like, this is boring. You never know.
You never know.
They might be like, this is
you never
old
know.
people stuff.
Well, I'm going to watch everything because I really have
even
not.
Fantasia?
The only Disney movie that I'm not going to watch is Dumbo. I don't like.
I won't watch Dumbo.
It's like a sad movie.
Again.
I'm not going to watch that.
I feel really bad because the movie came out and I like Tim Burton. I know you're not a big fan of his, but I love Tim Burton and I wanted to see.
It's too sad.
I like to see any Tim Burton movie, but I don't like Dumbo. Our daughter loved it as a little girl. We rented it. But any movie with an animal being mistreated in any way, I can't handle it, even though it has a happy ending and all this stuff. But
so I won't be watching Dumbo. But other than Dumbo, I'm going to watch everything.
Fantasia's awful.
Well, the thing is about
I've never seen Sleeping Beauty ever.
We had Fantasia. This is how long ago when our daughter was little. We had Fantasia. It came out on VHS, and we had it. And I remember watching it. And they had this introduction with Steve Martin. And he was talking about the wonderment of Fantasia. And I turned it on, and I'm like, well, this might have been wonderful when it came out that we can have color images on the movie screen that are animated.
Well, I saw a documentary about the Disney movies. And his first full feature film was Snow White, which was a huge hit. Huge hit. And then they said he did movies after. Oh, another movie I will not watch. There's 3. I remember the 3. Fantasia, Dumbo, and I will not watch Pinocchio. I hated that movie. I saw it in kindergarten. I did not like that movie.
Well, the reason
those 3, but anyway, they said that after Snow White was such a huge success, he did a bunch of movies that really kind of bombed. Fantasia, Pinocchio, and I think there was another one. And then Sleeping Beauty did well. I think that's why he kind of stuck
Robin
with the
Hood
princess
with the
thing.
foxes. Robin Hood.
I love that one. I love that
the reason I'm going to watch all the Disney movies is I was never into cartoons even when I was a kid.
No, I always was.
But the reason I'm going to watch it is because I go to the parks and there's a lot of characters. I have no idea who they are.
You'll say, who's that again?
And people are going nuts like, oh my, and I have no idea
who
it is.
Baymax was. You
I have no idea.
Big white thing
I'm not going to watch Wall-E.
Man?
I'm not going to watch Wall-E.
No,
I saw that in the theater. Yeah. I'm not going to watch Wall-E.
A lot of people like Wall-E.
Wall-E makes me sad too. That's a sad movie. But okay, so Wall-E and Dumbo, we'll probably have a list of what we're not going to watch because they make us sad. But I go to the parks all the time, and they have these characters. I don't know. And what they've been doing the last few months on Main Street at Disney World is they've been having rare characters that you don't normally see out in the parks.
Yeah, that's really neat.
And I go by there, I don't know who any of them are. So, sometimes I'll take a picture, and if you're not with, I'll text you and I say, "Who's this?" I mean, I know who the big ones are: Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Tinkerbell, Goofy. I know the big names, but not these fringe guys.
Right? When they do the rare characters, okay. See, I've talked about this before. Back in the day, in the 70s, okay, when I used to go as a kid, they did not have character meet and greets that you could book or The characters would walk around the park. And that was my favorite part of going to Disney was my brother and I would have our autograph book and we would try to spot the characters and we would walk around looking for characters because they would just walk around and you'd have to go up to them and that was it. And that's how you would see a character. They would just walk around in their area. And whenever I saw a character, it was like the most thrilling thing to me as a little girl.
Oh, yeah.
So when they bring out the old characters, like you mentioned the Robin Hood,
Yeah.
They brought those out a month or so ago. They were doing like a thing with
I wasn't
older
there.
characters.
I saw it on someone's YouTube
I
channel.
would die if I saw them because
Robin Hood, yeah, that'd be
that is
crazy.
right back to my childhood. I had they used to sell albums, the big record albums.
Yeah.
And it would come with a record.
Oh, yeah, I had that.
And it would come with a booklet,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And the booklet would tell the story.
Yeah,
and
I
you
had
played
that.
the record.
And it would tell you when to turn the page.
And I had one for the Song of the South, Brer Rabbit. I had one for the Robin Hood. I had the Dumbo. I had my mom bought them. I had all of them. I loved them. So
let me
when
tell
those
you,
characters come out, it's a thrill.
I haven't seen anything rumored about this, and it certainly has not happened. But with Galaxy's Edge, because I know a lot of people are down on Galaxy's Edge. I'm not going to be down on Galaxy's Edge because I haven't been to it yet, and I don't know. Maybe it's becoming like the in vogue thing to be down on Galaxy's Edge.
A lot of vlog videos are,
Let me tell you, what Disney needs to do is have they need to have people as Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo. They've got people.
They're not going to do that.
I don't know why they have people.
Because they have Rey and they have the First Order, Kylo Ren.
No.
That's who they're focusing
They
on.
have people that do the Guardians of the Galaxy, and those movies are still being produced with those people, and they have people playing those characters in all the parks everywhere in the world.
Well, I know they have Darth Vader at Launch Bay, so why is he there?
Darth Vader's there.
He's long gone.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
First Order.
He died early on, man. Darth Vader's been dead since Jedi, man. And he's at everything. And the thing about those, I remember when Disney bought Lucasfilm, the first thing people were saying, "Oh, does that mean Princess Leia is a Disney princess now?"
Absolutely
And
is.
Disney said, "Yeah. Well, why can't I go take a picture with Princess Leia?" And what
I agree.
My fantasy for a photo op for
Yeah.
Star Wars is the final scene in the original Star Wars,
Episode
1970.
4.
I call it Star Wars. No, episode 4.
The New Hope.
No, episode 4. It's Star Wars. The
Okay.
77.
Whatever.
The end where they get the medals.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. I want to be there with Han, Luke, R2, 3PO. I want to be there with Princess Leia. They've got
That'd
Rey.
be a good photo op.
They got Rey running around, hiding from the First Order in Galaxy's Edge. You should be able to do a photo op with Luke, Han, Princess Leia, 3PO, R2D2, and Darth Vader.
I agree.
And that would freak people out.
Well, what
People
they
would
could
wait
do,
for hours. I would wait hours and hours.
What
for
they
that.
could do,
hours and hours.
Yeah, at Disney World, since Galaxy's Edge is opening and it's based on the First Order. What they could do is keep that the First Order, and then the area that's the launch bay, make that more of the first 6 films.
Yeah.
Okay, and have people at the launch bay, like the characters there, Chewbacca.
Well, I
Darth
imagine the launch
Vader.
bay is going. I've heard that's
think
going to
so?
go away.
And what are they going? That's a pretty big
Have
building.
they'll turn it into something else. I would imagine. I
isn't
can't
that-
imagine having that
so
there.
that the launch bay doesn't connect to Galaxy.
Oh no, it's on the other side of the park.
Oh,
Yeah, it's on the other side
so
of the
do you
park,
think
so
they're going
that's
to
gonna
move
be
all
gone.
that stuff? And
I don't know. It might just disappear.
well, there's rumors that they're going to tear down the Muppet Theater, which I would have no
Yeah.
problem with, and change that into a Star Wars area because it connects to Star Tours. And maybe they would have those 3. So maybe they could move Launch Bay to where the Muppet Theater is and have a whole area.
If they did,
I love the Muppets, but they need to go.
if
I'm
they
sorry.
did a character meetup like we were just talking about, that would blow up. People would be like, "Oh man!"
We saw a video of a
That'd be
guy
huge.
meeting Darth Vader at Launch Bay, and I said to you, I would die to meet Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate for me, other than Han, of course. But I love meeting Kylo Ren and
Kylo Ren's
and
really
Chewbacca,
cool.
of course, is awesome. But they have BB-8. I where's R2? Why can't they have R2? And I don't know how they do.
I got to meet
3PO
the
though,
Jawas not long ago. I was at Hollywood Studios, and they were talking about rare
I wanna meet
characters.
Darth
They had
Vader.
the Jawas, and I couldn't believe it.
That's
and they
pretty
were
cool.
they were good.
Yeah.
It was really cool to meet the Jawas.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this new ride comes out, because I know with a Hagrid ride, we were watching Rick's Flicks. He does a lot on Universal, like I said, and he was kind of aggravated because the Hagrid ride keeps breaking down.
It opens
or
up like in the afternoon or around
there's no
noon.
consistency with when it's, so you go there, and so the problem with that is people are going to postpone their trip plans because they're going to be like, look, I'm not going to spend money to go to Orlando and Galaxy's Edge is broken down. That's why I'm going. So the problem, these rides are really cool. They're really cool, But when they have all these different elements, they're upping the ante on these rides. So the people, when they go on these really cool rides, they expect the next ride to be even better and even more amazing and even greater. So Disney is definitely, and now they're in competition with, this Hagrid ride looks so cool.
Yeah.
But it's breaking down all the time. So I don't know how to resolve that problem, because if you want to build the cool rides, I don't know, maybe they're not ready for these.
Maybe we should start a petition to get Han, Luke, Leia for a photo op. Can you imagine if they did that, what that would be like?
I think it'd be amazing. if they can get somebody, if they can get Rey there.
There's a Rey at Hollywood Studios that looks just like her. She's
movie.
really good.
No, and they do good with the casting.
She's really good. Yeah, and she's always palling
they
around
have the
Chewbacca.
Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's not no Chris Pratt, but he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, and those movies are still coming out, and they got characters playing them, so it makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's what's really missing from the Star Wars areas and from Galaxy's Edge, is it's like they've completely, other than Millennium Falcon and Chewie.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have a few animatronics from the original 6 movies. And to me, those in Rogue One are the only Star Wars movies I consider real Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned. The First Order I don't like. But they're really ignoring that whole aspect. We've talked about this on one of our last podcasts. But anyway, tell us what you think, guys. Do you think that the Rise of the Resistance is too advanced? Are the Guardians of the Galaxy, are they going to be breaking down all the time?
And How long put this in the comments. How long would you wait in line for my fantasy photo op of Luke, Han, Leia, 3PO,
getting the
and
medal.
R2-D2 getting the medal, and you get to stand up there while they're getting the medal? How much would you be willing? How long would you be willing to wait in line? I would wait in line 5 or 6 hours for that easily. I would wait in line all day for that. If I knew I was going to get that, I would wait in line.
Yeah,
I would
because
go to
that is.
I would go to the park just for that.
There's so many photo ops that they could do from the Star Wars franchise. Obviously on the Millennium Falcon, you have the chessboard. Okay, you could sit there. That is very cool. I definitely want that. But from what I've seen at Galaxy's Edge in California from the videos, they have the TIE fighters, they have the X-Wings, okay, and those are cool, and they have the one show where the Empire guy comes out of the Kylo Ren comes out of a ship.
That's cool.
That is really awesome, okay? But but the problem is they make it so much the First Order, they can't tie in the old characters into that. So those are great photo ops, but I don't know how they would do that, Brian, because they basically ignored the first 6 films in Galaxy's Edge, acted like it's just they're in the past, and other than, Chewbacca, who seems to live forever, that's basically it. There's no Yoda, and then there's other characters they decide to throw in. Anyway, I think these rides are great. I'm excited about all these new rides coming. Believe me, it's so exciting, because there's nothing like going on a brand new ride that's, so cool. But do you think these rides are, like the Hagrid ride, are they too, my question is it worth having a super advanced ride with all these elements if it breaks down every day? Or would you rather have a less exciting ride, like, say...
Fast and Furious.
No, that's like the other end of the spectrum. Or would you rather have, I shouldn't say less exciting, I should say a more traditional ride, like, the Haunted Mansion. Of course, that breaks down too. Small World, or, just a typical ride where you ride through it, like Winnie the Pooh, or even a roller coaster like Mount Everest. Would you rather have a ride like that that's always running, like Thunder Mountain, where there's not as many problems? Or do you not mind having these super advanced rides with the drops and the launches, but it comes with the problem of breaking down, constant maintenance, things like that? Tell us what you think. Anyway, I want to thank all our new listeners. We're getting a lot of new listeners here. And I want to thank everybody who watches our videos and listens to the podcast. You can find us here on YouTube, also on iTunes. We also have a Facebook group and Twitter, Main Street Moments. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you at the parks.